Heidi ho, Ned Henson here. Welcome back to Fast Facts with, average speed information with Ned. Gee, it's been one heck of a half year since we last spoke. Come inside my humble abode and I'll bring everybody up to the minute. You wouldn't be remiss in calling it a rustic accommodation, but the place suits me just fine. It's pleasantly airy, there's plenty of storage space, and the rusty windmill out back brings to mind one of my favorite television programs, namely the Courage the Cowardly Dog show, starring Courage the Cowardly Dog. You remember. That's what the farmer says in the cartoon. After you. And best of all, it's completely rent-free. Though technically I am squatting, so the legality of the situation is tenuous. It's entirely possible I could be forcibly and violently evicted at any given moment. But it hasn't happened yet, so... Well, now that we're comfortable, I'll give you the skinny on our current state of affairs. Sherm Milty, my boss, best friend, and intellectual mentor, is still MIA. But that's not for any lack of effort on my part, folks. In truth, over these past 6 months, I've scoured the continent for Mr. Milty. Up mountains, through deserts, and even in the big Pacific Blue. I'm devastated to report that my one-man search party has been utterly unsuccessful, which leads me to a dark conclusion. Though conveniently, by pure happenstance, it ties in quite neatly to the informational tidbit I have to share with you all today. Were you aware that hundreds of people every year inexplicably vanish from America's public lands, gone without a trace, sometimes after ambulating just a few yards up the well-worn trail? When and if the victims' remains are eventually found, bodies will typically be discovered buck naked, sneakerless, and crammed into a berry bush or the hollow of a dead tree. Now, I'm not saying that Sherman's pale and bloated cadaver was unceremoniously stuffed into a rotted log, but I am saying that it may have been. And if it was, and if my former employer has indeed been savaged by some malevolent entity of the forest, hell, gosh darn it, I'd like to know why. So, naturally, I've compiled some points of data. Now, the abductees in these situations frequently exist within two main categories: highly educated men of science and mental retards. It's not my place to postulate which side of the fence Mr. Milty falls on, but it's safe to bet that in either case, there was a target on his back. Toddler-aged children, unfortunately, are also disproportionately represented. I've theorized that from a distance, and through the extra-dimensional filter of perception that the unknown entities see our world, Sherm could easily be mistaken for a tantrum-throwing 3-year-old. Now's the point in the breakdown where you might be tempted to say, but Ned, Sherm Milty's last known location was in suburban New England. That's nowhere near the Nevada Triangle, or the Smoky Mountain Pentagram, or the Colorado Squircle for that matter, or even any lesser hotbed of unexplainable disappearances. To that, I provide the following rebuttal. Sherman is an iridescent gemstone of a human being, a rare, exotic beetle of an adult boy. If I were a predatory, transdimensional, alien being, well, I'd venture outside my regular hunting grounds for a piece of that choice cut, too. So, that's where things stand. Mr. Milty is very likely deceased, or, in the best case scenario, living with the family of portal-hopping Sasquatch. And I'm here, left whiling away my days in this abandoned shack on this undisclosed parcel of government land. Which I just realized is the property with the highest number of recorded disappearances. Oh, I wish I had realized that before I got so settled in. Did you hear that? I'm gonna go give it a look-see. I nearly forgot to mention, I had to part ways with my beloved van. And by part ways, I mean that it was carjacked from me at knife point. Well, I guess I can consider it more of a trade. The criminal got a 2002 Dodge Grand Caravan, and I received this 7-inch abdominal scar. If you'll excuse me, I am scheduled to be back at the lodge.
Obviously, like it won't make me.
Oh.